All right, guys. Today we continue the discussion, the aquaculture friction, the friction between large tilapia fish farmers, commercial tilapia fish farmers, established tilapia fish farmers with pop-up backyard tilapia fish farming, both in rural spaces and urban spaces. Now, if you follow the world of fish farming, you've probably noticed a growing tension on one side. You have a large commercial operation that supply massive market on the other side. You have a rapid rise of backyard, small scale, independent fish farming utilizing innovative compact setup. Now, lately, there has been a visible friction from the commercial perspective, right, guys? These pop-up setups are sometimes viewed as a disruption, irritation, or an unregulated risk to the industry. From the backyard perspective, it feels like a big aquaculture is trying to push the little guy out of the process entirely. Now, but this is really a zero-sum game where one side has to win and the other side has to lose, is it? Today we are stepping back from the emotional argument, right? We are going to look at why this friction exists, why both perspectives have valid points, and how these seemingly competitive worlds can actively coexist to drive economic growth and community independence. Now, to find some ground, we have to understand the pressure commercial farmers face. Now, they aren't just rising, right? Well, they aren't just raising fish, right? They are managing massive financial risk, stringent regulatory compliance, and strict market standards, right? Some large commercial tilapia fish farmers in Jamaica, for example, they are tied to contracts overseas, and their standard have to be at a particular level, right, guys? When a commercial producer looks at a sudden influx of independent small-scale backyard setup, their concern usually come down to three major areas: biosecurity and disease control. Now, commercial farms invest heavily in quarantine and disease prevention. A single outbreak nearby can devastate a region export reputation or a local market. They worry that that is the commercial tilapia fish farmer. They worry that smaller unmonitored setup might lack the what I refer to as the infrastructure to handle disease protocol effectively. Now, this is one of the issue that they have on the table as of concern. Another issue is market price stability. Now, large scale tilapia operation plan their harvest months or years in advance based on predictable pricing. When local small scale producers flood a micro market with low price fish to clear their inventory, it can temporarily destabilize local wholesale prices, making it hard for large operations to cover their heavy expenses. In other words, large commercial tilapia fish farmers, right, guys, they establish a pricing mechanism as to how to sell their fish. And when, like, for example, I am selling fish. If I'm selling fish, I don't sell table fish though. I only sell tilapia fingerlings. If I'm selling table fish, I might sell it for $500 a pound, while commercial tilapia fish farmers might sell it for $700 a pound. While the $500 is seemingly good for me, the 500 for them is not good because they have a larger overhead to manage, right? So they see that as as a downside in the influx of small scale backyard tilapia fish farming. Now, also, they're concerned about regulatory standards. Now, commercial entities pay heavily for licensing fee, water testing costs, environmental taxes. It can feel like an uneven playing field when, like, smaller setup operate outside that costly regulatory umbrella. Now, there have been a thrust by governments to have farmers of all dimensions, whether it be cattle farm, crop farming or fish farming, to be licensed. This is not like it's not at that 100% level as yet. So you still have some unregistered farmers, and when you're unregistered, you find it very difficult to regulate, and you find it very difficult to license, and you find it very difficult for persons to adhere to particular standards. I agree. When we look at when we look through the lens of their frustration isn't necessarily about greed. It's about protecting like a massive investment and maintaining industry standard. At least that's what it is being suggested, right, guys? At the same time, however, we cannot ignore the immense value of independent small scale fish farmer may have on the community, right? Backyard aquaculture isn't just a hobby. Well, it's a critical tool for grassroots economic growth and social upliftment, and I've shared that already with you. Here is why the independent sector is vital. Now let's look at how the small scale backyard tilapia fish farmer activity helps both the economic and the social sphere of the country. All right, so local food security. Now, commercial distribution network don't always reach every corner of a community effectively or affordably. Small scale farmers provide fresh, high quality protein directly to the neighborhoods, filling the gaps that the big logistic pass over. Now, another factor that you could say that small scale tilapia fish farmer actually use so as to argue their moot point as, hey, let us be able to be a part of this, is that community independence. Now micro farming empowers families. It turns up a backyard into a productive asset, teaching valuable skills in biology, engineering, resource management, while providing supplementary income. I am a passive tilapia fish farmer and ornamental fish farmer, right, guys? And I can say that on a good day or a good month, right, I can earn an extra income from my tilapia fish sales, and I be able to manage certain expenses, right? Both personal and not related to my tilapia fish farming experience. Now, resilience and innovation. Now, let's look at this. Now, small scale farmers are incredibly adaptive because they aren't locked into massive corporate systems. They can innovate rapidly with compact, independent filtration setup, finding creative solutions to local resource limits. Right. So how do we bridge the gap between the two? That's commercial and small scale tilapia fish farm. Right. We can agree to disagree on market methods while agreeing completely on ultimate objective: national food security, economic growth, and community upliftment. Instead of viewing each other as adversary, both sides can benefit from a collaborative ecosystem. The mentorship and supply chain model. Let's look at that. It's believed that commercial entities can view small scale farmers not as competitors but as customers and partners. Large hatcheries can supply high quality fingerlings and specialized feed to independent growers, opening up a steady, high profitable revenue stream for commercial sector, right? Also, right, guys, standardization and education. Instead of trying to cut the small farmers off from the process, the industry can support basic educational outreach, helping independent farmers implement proper biosecurity and environmental practices, which protects the entire region's ecology. So this is how the large commercial tilapia fish farmers can help the small scale backyard tilapia fish farmers to reach at that point where which both of them can symbiotically survive together. And also market segmentation. Big aquaculture is built for mass wholesale export and major supermarket chains, right? Small aquaculture is built for localized, immediate community consumption. The markets are fundamentally different. There is what you call it. There is more room, or should I say, there is enough room for both to thrive without getting into each other's way. Both the commercial, large scale commercial tilapia fish farmer and the backyard small scale tilapia fish farmer can coexist together and achieve their ultimate goal, which is food sustainability, along with gaining much needed profit for survival. Now, true economic independence doesn't come from a single monopoly, nor does it come from a chaotic unsustainable growth. It comes from a balanced ecosystem where the large scale industry and the grassroots community support one another. Right, guys? When the commercial sector thrives, it stabilizes the national economy. When the backyard farmer thrives, it uplifts the community. Right? So you're not gonna have any thieves going on the large scale tilapia fish farm to thief fish, right? Because they're hungry, or they want some means of economic activity, right? They have this practice, right, in which they can practice something like this. They are taught how to do it technically. I want to hear from both sides on this. Now, if you run a commercial operation, what are your biggest day-to-day worries regarding small setup? And if you are an independent tilapia fish farmer, what hurdles are you facing trying to get your foot in the door? Now, let's keep the conversation constructive, educational, and focus on growth in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, I appreciate you staying so long watching the video. I don't have any fancy things showing, but I'm just here, just sharing my gut feeling on the matter. Walk good, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.